I knew from a young age that I had an interest in diseases. Right? It kind of always boggled my mind how diseases happen. So pathology is a study of diseases, but you can study diseases as tissue, as blood, as virology, as microbiologists, as forensics pathologists. We all fall under the bracket of pathology. I help the doctors make sure that they've removed as much of the cancer as possible so that when the patient is healing, there's not residual cancer.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nontobeko Talks Longevity. Can I get a scream? Yes, my renter crowd is doing an amazing job. So today I've got things like a little bit twisted for y'all. I've got a doctor in the building. Can I hear a doctor at the back saying yay?
Yay!
A doctor on the right saying yay. Yeah, we're just switching things up. You know, we're not just always going to be chatting about celebrities or artists or actors. We also want to chat to doctors, entrepreneurs, authors. So just keep it locked and comment and tell us what are your thoughts on the show. So with me today is a very beautiful doctor. She's doing groundbreaking things. Her name is Dr. Nontobeko Mbatha. Did I get it right?
Dr Dotz.
I know, doctor, they call you something else. Dr.
Nontobeko.
Nontobeko.
Yes,
but then what's the shorter way?
Everyone calls me Dotz.
Dotz.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
When I grew up, when we were kids, other kids couldn't say Nontobeko, so they used to call me Toto. Then when I went to varsity, then the varsity people changed it to Dotz.
Dotz. I find that so interesting. I mean, you've been in the space of being a doctor for how long now? Because you are here to tell your story.
So I'm an old doctor. I qualified in 2005, which means I've been a doctor for 20 years. And this year I went to my 20th varsity reunion.
Wow.
So I've been a doctor for 20 years.
That's longevity. Yes. Congratulations. How did you just start this passion of wanting to heal people?
Okay, so I don't think mine is a typical story. So I'm not one of those people who just were like, I want to heal people. Definitely not. Mine is a story of ending up where you're supposed to end up, right? It's a story of God taking you and putting you where He meant for you to be on earth without my knowledge, right? So I can't even claim to be those people who knew from high school and were that focused to know what was going to happen. I knew what I liked and I knew what I didn't like.
Okay. Which is important.
Which was important. I knew from a young age that I had an interest in diseases. Right? It kind of always boggled my mind how diseases happen.
Right.
And then when I was in grade 11, standard 9, in 1999, I was diagnosed with a lipoma on my neck. And around about the same time, my grandfather was diagnosed with a leukemia.
Okay.
So then this thing came back again. And I was like, how does the body decide that this is going to be a serious illness? This is not going to be a serious illness. Where does it decide? How does the body talk to each other to decide what's going to happen? So that kind of...
And how do you catch this thing? Like, how does it formulate inside you?
Yeah, it's just something that bothered my mind, right? Then in, I think, end of grade 11 or beginning, I can't remember, but then I bumped into a subject called physiology in high school, and I did that as my additional subject.
Okay.
Kind of gave me a little bit of an answer, but it just never got there. But still, there was no doctor thing in all of this. Then I applied for varsity. Then I realized I qualified for medicine, and then I qualified for everything else that I applied for.
So your marks were always top tier?
I was fine. I wasn't an 8A student, but I had good marks, right? And then also I was a rounded student, right? So my marks were good. I played A-team netball for KZN.
Head girl vibes.
You get what I mean? But I was also never a head girl. I was never a prefect because I still had my own personality, right?
Okay.
So I was also not a child who followed, like I wasn't a perfect child, right? I was myself, right? And that's why I'm saying mine is a story of ending up where God put you. right? I was always a child who challenged the system.
Which is the chosen ones.
Yeah. I was a child. I think my parents I was not the easiest child for them to raise. I wasn't naughty, but my brain always was plugged in, right?
Were you conscious from an early age?
Very, very conscious from an early age. So I always questioned stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't a child that you're going to come and say something and then I accept it. If I do, then I do. But if I'm not sure, then I'm going to ask a question, right? So I was that type of child. And then I applied varsities. I got taken for everything. And the day before I left for Pretoria, I got accepted for medicine and my journey began there. And it was only when I got to varsity and I did a subject called histology, which then was a subject on the tissues of the body, on how things look under the microscope. Can I then say the question in me, I don't even want to call it a passion because I hadn't done anything about it, but it was the first time kind of God put the two together, the question in my head and part of the answer. It was at that moment when I bumped into a subject called histology that I kind of knew that this is what I was supposed to do. So what I am currently is called a histopathologist.
Wow.
Yeah, right. And it only clicked and it all came together in first year university.
Which is a doctor who does what exactly?
So I'm the doctor. Our prof usually used to say to us, we are doctors. So I don't consult patients. I consult doctors. All right. So when doctors...
So you're the celebrity of doctors.
Basically,
you are the celebrity of doctors,
but more academically,
yes,
right? So when a doctor, for example, when a patient has a breast lump, they take a piece of that and they send it to me to look at it to tell them if it's cancer or if it's not cancer. So that's what I do. I work in the laboratory. So you first have to become a doctor, then you have to go and specialize in pathology, which is a study of diseases. And then the part of pathology that I do is then called histopathology.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I did hear from my team that you actually you've purchased your very own lab.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
oh yes.
Like what does that mean, having your own lab?
Yeah.
Is that where everybody goes for blood tests, right? What else does this lab entail?
So I've opened my own lab. I haven't purchased it. I really literally started from scratch.
Okay, you opened your own.
I started it with my own two bare hands.
Okay.
Right from I own the entire thing. So it is my own pathology laboratory because there are other laboratories, but ours is a pathologist-owned laboratory. And we do bloods, we do tissue in the form of histology.
Okay.
We do hematology. We do various components of pathology. So pathology is a study of diseases, but you can study diseases as tissue, as blood, as virology, as microbiologists, as forensics pathologists. We all fall under the bracket of pathology. And then it has little... little subspecialities under it.
Okay.
And histopathology is one of them.
Take us through starting up your own laboratory. Like, I mean, what are the ones that we are familiar with that everybody goes to? The most popular ones.
Yeah, so I don't know. Which one do you see when you go to a hospital?
What is it called again? LIE?
Lancet.
Yes, that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
so there's that one, and there's another blue one.
Empath.
There.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So now we are now
building for that. Right. So
fantastic.
That's the dream, right? And big dreams start small. Rome wasn't built in a day.
I love it.
And it's a difficult industry to break into.
As a woman? Black?
As a black woman, it's very, very difficult. It's difficult in many angles, right? It's difficult in angles such as that there's no pathologist in my family. I don't know a pathologist. Like I grew up not knowing a pathologist. I grew up not knowing anyone who opened a business, let alone a laboratory.
Sure.
So you come from, the challenges are rooted in where we come from. Then there are structural and industry difficulties, right? Because I also don't have money. My parents are teachers. There's 6 of us at home. So I don't come from a place where someone can say, right, this is your dream, here's money.
Funding it. I'm funding it for you.
Right. And you can't go to a funding house and say, hi guys, I'm a pathologist, give me some money. Right? When you have no track record and you have no financials and you've never run a business before.
It's a risk.
Yeah. So it's I'm too high a risk that for anyone to take on me. So you kind of have to do it yourself, one way or the other, until you create that reliability for funding and for someone to say, right now I can borrow you money. So you can only imagine trying to enter a billion rand industry with nothing, how difficult that could be, right? So
who funded you for starting up your lab?
Myself.
Yourself.
Yeah.
So you are a billionaire, basically.
No. Yeah, I'm entering an industry, right? So I'm not a billionaire. I'm not close to any of that.
But let's just manifest.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Yeah, in manifestation, yes, but we have to be realistic, right? So to enter, you have to figure it out yourself and which parts of it. Remember, when you deal with the laboratory, you're dealing with an industry where to build it costs you millions of rands.
Yeah.
To buy those machines and to get clients and to be trustworthy and to make sure your results are accurate and people can trust them, right? So there's too many moving parts. Then you also need money. Luckily for me, I was able to start, especially with histology or the specialty that I do. It's just like I said initially, God makes things work. You will bump into people and you will have someone who will help you.
Synchronicities, when you are in alignment with your purpose.
It happens and before you know it, it's worked. So I started by myself. I used to try, and I used to drive and pick up the specimen myself. I used to type the report. I used to look at the report. I used to cut the work. I used to know all the hospitals. I used to do the marketing. I used to do the stickers. I used to register the business. There is no component of this entire thing that I've never done.
Yeah.
Right? There's no part of it that I don't know. There's no job that an employee of mine does that I can't do. And I guess also that was the MBA of learning how to do and how to run the business, because there is nothing about it that doesn't have my finger on it.
Wow.
Right? So even with my employees, when I tell them, it's because I know. I'm not guessing it. I wasn't recruited from another company to this one. I started this one with my own bare hands.
So you know the movement within the firm.
I know every little part of this whole thing. I know every little contact. I know every supplier. I know everything. I know every negotiation. I know every little piece of this whole entire business.
How many employees have you got?
So now we're sitting at about 12, and we just launched a new laboratory over the weekend.
Where?
In Alberton.
Okay.
Right. We've launched a histology lab there.
Wow.
And we're going to hire about another 3 to 5 more people.
Wow.
That includes us having new drivers to pick up the work.
So I'm assuming your end goal and your dream is to actually find cures for these various diseases that you've studied. Am I right?
Not really. The end goal? So I'm in the business side of pathology currently, right? So I've left academics because I also feel that as doctors, we get so stuck in the academics of medicine that then some people can make their contribution there. I'd like to make my contribution in terms of industry and in terms of the business side of pathology. I think I've studied enough.
Okay.
I think I've studied long enough.
Okay.
It takes many years.
Yeah.
And I think whilst my colleagues are finding cures, I would like to be part of the industry. I'd like to be an owner in the industry and not always work behind closed doors and not make a pathway into ownership into what is a very monopolized industry.
Right.
So someone has to enter and we have to create a brand in the business side of pathology.
What are the challenges in your industry as a Black and successful woman as yourself that you have encountered along the journey? Because it's been how many years now?
It's our 4th year now.
Fourth year.
We're at the beginning of our 4th year. Challenges are multifactorial, right?
Besides funding and finance.
Yeah. Well, that is 70% of the challenge.
Like that's the main problem, not yet.
You can't eliminate that because that is the problem. But there are personal problems. So there are Dr. Nontobeko Mbatha problems. And then there are industry problems, right? And then when in medicine, when we look at a human being, we look at your psychosocial, financial, psychological factors, and you don't realize these things until you have to do something like this, right? Some of the buzzwords now are childhood traumas. There's a lot comes out in all of this. Entrepreneurship is a bigger calling for me than pathology. Okay. Pathology is a means to get to entrepreneurship, right? Because the evolution of me has happened more not as a pathologist,
as an
but
entrepreneur.
As an entrepreneur in pathology.
Right.
So pathology for me is what I do to be able to do what I'm meant to do. It's a pathway, right? And who I am as an individual is the strengths within me are then created in me to be able to fight through a difficult system. So becoming a pathologist as a Black woman, the system is not designed for you. So the system itself is tough. To pass exams and get your board exams. So that's what everybody understands it. So we write with the College of Medicine, South Africa, and we have our first board exam and our second board exam. To get through those exams is, if your God is not there with you, you are not going to get through them.
So you've managed to get the magic of resilience, endurance, patience. Because those are I always believe those are the superpowers that we have within us that get unleashed through the process, the pruning, the pain, the journey. And I want to tap into that and your relationship with God and how that has also shaped you and your character and where you are now.
So especially with my character, this is something I've had to learn and accept in retrospect, right? So like I told you, I've always been a child who just questions stuff. If I don't
inquisitive.
And if I don't want to go with the gradient, I'll go against the gradient, right? Because it just must make sense, right? I'm not a person who just accepts things.
But it's hard when you're a child because an adult believes you don't know much.
It's as hard
just keep
even
quiet
when you are an adult, right? Because you become outcast.
Because you're not following the matrix. Remember, there's a box that this universe has created, and a lot of people just fall under it.
Exactly.
But when you create a system outside of it, you then obviously looked upon differently because you are acting and moving differently, and it's unfamiliar. It's unfamiliar with
Very
the rest,
and it's unfamiliar with your surrounding. Then it's tough for you because then you kind of you don't fit
outcast.
in.
But then you start ending up accepting that you are different, and those that will vibe with you, your tribe will find you. Like right now, you're on my show, and I'm on your vibe because I roll solo. I don't roll. I've always been different in my industry. I've always done the different things.
I've also got a question for Dr. Dotz. Where do you get this trailblazing fearlessness? Who taught you that?
Okay, so I think, like I was saying earlier on, some of the things make sense in retrospect, right? And think what I think, or what I have come to understand is that everything that was in me when I was born, and the environment I was born in, created that. So, for example, I grew up with 5 boys, right? And
so you've got more masculine energy in you, hey?
Don't call it that, because that's also made negative, right?
No, it's not negative. Remember, as humans, we are described as masculine and feminine. So we are both.
Yeah. So I grew up with boys, right? I grew up playing cricket. I grew up playing rugby.
Love that.
I grew up riding bicycles. I have a scar on my head from falling from a bicycle. But also with playing with boys, I was a team member, hey? Like I wasn't chosen last, right?
Yeah.
I was, if not the beginning, I was
you
in
were
the
not
middle.
afraid to show them.
Listen, me, I was a tough girl.
But don't you see, Doc, you needed to go through that experience so that you could be in this tough industry.
This is what I'm
Imagine
saying.
if you were just a little fairy princess. How were you going to manage to get into a business that is dealing with such hardcore issues of sicknesses, illnesses, diseases, and having to diagnose all of that and look at those different aspects?
So that's what I was saying, is that only in retrospect do you then realize that everything that happened or it has happened to you has worked out for you, right? So that's one of the things that I think my upbringing was like that. But also, I think the one very crucial point that you'll always know about me is that I had an allowing father, right? My dad was a very...
What is allowing father?
So my dad was never bothered by who I was.
He never limited you.
No, my dad
he accepted you.
My dad was okay when I was asking questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My dad was okay when I was resisting the system.
Okay.
Right? And my dad is the one guy who kind of knew when I was like that. He's the only person in the world
He
who
got your back.
He got it, and my dad is the one guy from a young age. He gave me a name when I was young. We spoke about it this weekend. My dad called me Unopudula Zaitole.
Yeah.
Right.
Meaning?
In Zulu, it's like you fight until you get something.
Because you're a fighter, bulldozing
So
it.
he
You
figured
have
it.
to.
Nobody else figured it out but him. So, but in him giving it that name, it gave it a positive connotation to it.
Right.
Rather than me always feeling like the stubborn child, the one who's not doing this and the one who's
feeling
non-compliant.
like,
And I think it was only during those times when then it also started to give me a better understanding about it, who exactly I am and who I exactly don't need to be. And to be comfortable with who I am.
Within your family and your lineage, when you look, who are you mostly like? Is it like are you like more like your father or your mom or your gran or your gram?
I'm mostly like myself.
Okay.
Right? I'm definitely mostly like myself. And
there's no one like you, darling.
Yeah, I can say that.
Plus minus.
And this is not from an arrogant place.
No, I love it.
Because it's a real struggle, right? It's a very difficult thing that you wrestle with. I mean, I've tried to be
like
other
someone.
people.
Yes.
Like why must I talk
Yes.
when everybody else is quiet?
Yes.
Why do I have a question when anyone doesn't have a question, right?
Yeah.
So I've even tried to tame the beast. And
I got
it
you.
kind of just did not work.
Until you accept who you are and then you just refine you.
Then you wake up.
And you
one
wake.
day
Yes.
And you make peace with all of that. And you recognize all of that God needed to put in me to develop the grit that I have today.
Yes.
The fight that I have in me.
Yes.
And to have the longevity. It allows me to be... I know exactly what I'm here to do. I'm not lost. And I know exactly why I need to be who I am to do that. And I say this because it comes with a lot of losses. You lose a lot of very good relationships. But you do wake up one day and you're at a point where I just have to do what God put me on earth to do, right?
And if the right man comes along and understands you, because I was going to ask in terms of relationships,
Yeah.
like how do the males adjust to your power?
So that's not
Very powerful.
well. Did we have to go there so quickly? I can say, how do I put it? Right. So, firstly, I'm divorced. Right.
Okay.
But it's not an easy thing, right? And what makes it for me easier to deal with, because it's not just about the fact that it's a male relationship. It is about the fact that I throughout my whole life, like I said to you, I understand exactly who I am, and I'm not bothered by who I am, right? I know what I need to learn, and I'm open to learning that. I know what I need to improve, and I'm open to improving that. But also, I know exactly what I don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm non-negotiable about that.
That's why you're not in a relationship after you're divorced with the wrong person.
Yes.
Because you know now
So,
what you want.
I mean, you will find the wrong ones, but you quickly exit.
You quickly discern.
Also. Yeah, you
quickly
can
discern.
quickly see that this is not going my direction, right? So
values are not aligned.
it's not, yeah. So it's a struggle in terms of I'm a person who knows. I know who I am, and I'm not confused about who I am. And I know who I need to be to do what I need to do. And I know why God made me the way that I am to be able to do what I need to do. I know where I'm feminine, but I know where I'm very masculine, right? So, for example, I'm still the same girl who will cook a meal every single day in my house. Like there will be, you will never come to my house and there's no food.
Yeah.
Right?
Soft life.
Yeah, soft life things. You will come to my house, there'll be food.
You like the hair, you like the makeup, the heels. Yeah, got you.
I always say to people, inside of a lot of female doctors is a slay queen waiting to come out when you're on holiday. Right? So when you were on holiday, at the days there,
you let it out.
You're like, right, let's do this, right? Because it's self-expression. That's the feminine side of you, and that's you still a girl's girl inside of you. But also there is a thing burning inside you that drives you to do what you need to do. It's not easy to wake up every morning and with nothing and have employees that you have to pay, and you have to be the CEO, you have to be the marketing officer, you have to be the founder, you have to be the entrepreneur, you have to go meet doctors, you have to get the work, you have to fight the hospitals, you have to, so it's a lot, and your day. Like if I can tell you today, like I had this weekend was busy.
I heard you had actually a surgery this morning.
Yeah, so this weekend I launched my own lab. Yesterday I had family at my house. 5 o'clock I had to drop off people all over the show.
Yeah.
And then I had to be in Pretoria and I had to be in theatre to assist doctors cutting out a tumor from a patient. And then I had to come back and now I was in tackies and scrubs and no makeup. And then now I'm here wearing heels and she was
my other docs, I'm calling my crew members docs today. Doc number 1, doc number 2. Doc, do you know that she was in theatre this morning before coming here? She was cutting up somebody.
Amazing.
Did you hear that?
And now she's queening, slay.
Yeah.
So in theatre,
I have so much respect for you guys.
I don't cut out people in theatre because remember, I don't have patience. So what I do in theatre is...
Oh, you observe the doctors doing it.
So I take my microscope and I take some of my instruments. The doctors will then cut out the cancer out of the patient. And then I have to check that and cut around the cancer to be able to tell the doctors if they've removed all the cancer.
Wow.
Right? So I help the doctors make sure that they've removed as much of the cancer as possible so that when the patient is healing, there's not residual cancer somewhere in the patient. So like I said, I help doctors with the decisions that they make. Right?
Sure.
So then I have to go to theatre to do that.
I get you.
For them.
So, Doc, what is your ultimate dream for the lab, the businesses? Where do you want to see it going? And what's your vision for
and
it?
your purpose, because this is all tied to who you are and who you're becoming.
Yeah. So the dream is that you walk into any private hospital in South Africa where you find the other 2 big labs and also you have the option to go to ours. Right? We need to be an option in these spaces, right?
Because it's mostly white owned.
It's but I mean, who's middle class in South Africa, right?
Blacks.
Right. So we can't always be contributors to industries, but we can't take part in them.
Ish.
Right.
That's why I started longevity.
Sure. We cannot be the consumer all the time.
Right.
We
Sure.
we can't be the ingredient but never the cake. Right. So we need to be part of it, and we
Move some of that wealth this side.
it must, right? It has to. There has to be a way around it. It doesn't make it easy at all, right? We are nowhere close to any of that. We still make enough money to make sure we run as a business, right? And we still save money. Like we said, we opened a new lab this weekend. So we still are in this growth where our money still goes back into the business as much as we can. It is... So when we then link that to purpose, like you were saying, so for example, we have a lot of interest in funding the business, but the one place that is a stance for me is I need to have investors in my business who recognize that ultimate goal of having a black-owned lab, right? So my negotiations, when I go into funding negotiations, which is why still today I haven't taken any, it doesn't mean that I don't have offers, but I do have big offers. But I don't want the business to be unidentifiable for its purpose in 20
Diluted.
years' time, right? So, I mean, dilution can happen. That's okay, right? But how much of it? And how do we keep it such that it can be diluted, which is normal part of growing of a business, but not changed?
Right.
Right. So that's where the big battle is. And in navigating that, when you're a small business, right, if you getting funding too early for a business may be good or may not be good.
Yes.
Right. When you open the negotiations for funding too early, when you don't understand your own business,
Right.
and you therefore meaning you can't select the correct partner for you, and you can't negotiate the correct terms for you. You need to negotiate from a point of power. When you have
And
an
power comes from
investor-
understanding.
Exactly. It's understanding the business. It's understanding your worth in
And
the
purpose
business, right?
for it.
So if I
Got you.
yeah, if I allow any type of funding in this business, I will end up an employee in this business, which is not the point, right? I will end up having to answer certain questions, but I'm the one who must also build the business, right? Where is the direction of, if we're looking at the clients and the customer base of our patients, the investor must also understand that. They have to understand what we are building and why it has to look a certain way.
Yes.
Our clients, we function on a B2B and a B2C part of the business. The B2B is we work with doctors. Doctors are the business partners of our business. All right? But it's 2025. And what's the demographic of doctors? Right? Who do they identify with in the laboratory space? So we have to create something that the clients can also recognize and relate to.
Okay.
Right. So if I build my business and it doesn't look like the client that should grow the business, but then I just become the face of the business, meaning the business requires me to be myself, right? So for the business to grow, it needs me to be black and female, but I must not be part of it. There's a discourse in all of that. Yeah, there's a thing that doesn't, something in that to me personally, right? This is not cast in stone. These are the thoughts in my head and the things that keep me going and what I want to build, right? So it's not easy to keep the ownership of the business because you need money to grow the business. But because it's purpose driven, then we have to suffer until we meet the one. It's what we don't do in relationships. We date whoever and then things go downhill. We marry whoever, things go downhill.
Yeah.
But this is the one relationship that I'm very conscious of.
Yes.
And it's the one relationship that
You're not getting into the wrong...
partnership. Right?
I was going to say bed, but you got me. We're all grown here.
Let's keep it at partnership. So this has become a crucial role because I've had quite a few offers that you wake up and they look like they could work. And somewhere you realize that there's a misalignment. Of the growth. I don't want to be the pretty face behind the business. That's not what I want. I want to be the business, and I want to reflect that this business.
Trust me, your aura oozes boss, babe. Aura does not say just pretty. Yes, it's there. The pretty is there, but it's stamped with boss, authority.
Yeah, and this comes also from just watching.
And tread lightly.
Yeah.
Tread lightly here.
Also, it comes from even watching people. I mean, I didn't meet her, but I've heard a lot about a lady who owns mines, and to me that's always boggled my mind how at the time she decided to own a mine and how she owned it and how she kept it, right?
And she still
owns it, right? So those are the types of things that inspire me.
Yeah.
If some people could do it back then when they had even lesser than me and they had maybe even more adversities than me, but they managed to do that, then it is my duty to do that currently. It's difficult, but it's my duty.
Yeah.
And then also my faith comes in because then I know that that's what I'm meant to do.
So do you have this conversations with God? And how do you hear him tell you? Because a lot of people can't hear God.
Yeah.
So how do you get to hear him telling you about your journey?
All right. So God is a funny guy, right? And until you are in synchrony with him, you all don't get along very well.
Very much so.
Yeah. So me and I always say, light enough. I always say, me and God have had moments of not talking to each other.
Yes.
Right? Because sometimes we just don't get along.
Yes.
Right? But I'm happy to report that in the past few years, our relationship is very good.
Nice. Yeah.
So I once read, the reason I'm laughing when you're saying that is because I read a book called Conversations with God. And I read a book, so cliched, but I read The Secret.
I love The Secret.
Even when I read it, I was skeptical. I was like, there can't be a book that people are saying changes their lives like that.
It's true.
Right?
Everything is the power of the thoughts, the words, what you feed yourself in terms of what you're watching, hearing. It manifests.
And it's just the mere changing. Yeah, it's also just the mere changing of the
mindset.
way you think about stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I think when we are raised with all principles but that.
Yes.
Right? And this is the one thing you have to figure out yourself. So when God recognizes, right, that you are off on a tangent, what I've learned and I've realized is that, number one, God
pulls you back.
He's inside you.
Right.
Because how many times do you something told me I shouldn't go that direction.
Yes.
Or something in me said, right?
Yes.
So even when you did something wrong, even when you did something right, and you're like, oh, something just said to me, let me go here and let me do this, and then it happened and it worked out.
Yes.
So firstly, one of the theories in that book, it says that you have to start not calling coincidences.
I call them synchronicities.
Yeah. So it says that coincidences are carefully orchestrated, synchronous events.
Okay.
That are designed for a certain outcome.
Okay.
So they're not random.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're not as random as we think.
Okay.
And we usually don't have a lot of power in changing them. Right. So, example, you finish here and I say, oh, Nontle, let's go for lunch.
Yeah.
Or dinner. We go for dinner and we have the most fabulous time of that dinner, right? We didn't plan it. We just decided, let's do it. And we have the greatest of times. And then you wake up and you're like, that was even unplanned.
Yeah.
it was unplanned by you, but it was planned by God.
For us to meet.
Yeah. So between the two of us, it was that wasn't planned.
Yeah.
But there is someone who planned it.
Yes.
And that person who planned it is God. And whenever you have those moments that are that great, you will realize how beautiful those moments are, how unplanned by you they are, but what great outcomes they have. Because if we then figured out the rhythm of our own lives and kind of just folded with it a bit more gently and didn't fight it
and allowed to flow like the river flows, because the humans like to control, and God wants you to unleash. Let go of the leash and let him do the honors.
Yeah. And in that time, when you allow it to flow, you let go. So there's a thing about it that you just have to let go.
Yeah.
When you are letting go of it like that, it allows God to
surprise you.
What he wants to put in it.
Yeah.
It allows him to remove what he wants to remove.
Hey.
And once you figure out that synchronicity, you because he also gave us emotions, when he removes people of our lives and he removes things out of our lives, if we come from the understanding that this is part of the flow of my life, we can get a bit upset, but we are not going to die, because then there's a greater understanding that the outcome is better.
Amen.
Right?
Sure.
So because we function more out of synchronicity with God, then that is why we fight through everything. This is why we end up even more sad than we should be. Yes, situations we are allowed to be sad. It's an
deal with the emotion and move forward.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Deal with it and go ahead. And I'll make you an example. So, for example, I live with my girls. So I have two daughters, a 17 and a 6-year-old. However, my ex and he comes to my house whenever he wants.
Oh.
Yeah. He's got a key to my house.
Oh.
Yeah. He's got a remote control to my house. Whenever he wants to land in my house, he is more than welcome to come
And he's
to
an
my
ex?
house. And he's definitely an ex,
Okay.
right? And you see, this is what I'm talking about. We get so focused that he's an ex that I must fight it this way, like this.
No, I got you.
What we then forget is that in him being an ex, the bigger responsibility you have in that is parent. Parent is way more important than him and how you treat him as an ex, right? I have two girls that must not have daddy issues. Because I understand the effect of my dad in my life.
Yes.
Right?
And your dad played a really critical role for you.
Why would I not want and hunger for that more for my kids than to impress the world on how badly I can treat my ex?
I got you.
Right?
No, not to treat them badly, but like, how are you going to handle when you have a partner now and you've found someone?
It doesn't matter.
They must just adjust.
What I'm saying is currently I don't.
Oh,
and I'm not going to punish my kids for a partner I don't know that will ever come.
Okay.
Because what if they never come also?
Okay.
So what do I need to do today?
Okay.
And what am I responsible for today?
Yes.
And what is most important for me?
Is this moment today? Got you.
Do you get what I mean?
I get you.
And even with long term, should I meet somebody and I feel I want to do this whole thing again, I would have created enough respect and decency with my ex to be able to sit down and say, right, this is how it's going to go. How do we navigate this? How are we going then to do this? But to always function from this fear that we don't know of the future and then not take responsibility of the now is where sometimes we make a whole lot of mistakes.
I love that.
I'm not saying all exes are the same. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying my responsibility in this relationship is to prioritize my children.
I like that you're open-minded and that you also create your own rules in life, and you're not necessarily falling into the box of the matrix of what has been set out for us. Like, our kids have to go to school from this in primary to high school, go to varsity. You know, I feel like sometimes, what if you skip all of those and you just live your life in your ways? Why do we have to follow a specific pattern that has been laid out for us? So for me, I'm all for going out of the grain.
Yes. So you go out of it, but there's still some structure that you have to follow.
Creating your own.
Yes. You have to create it, but you can't create it if you don't have it. Right? So the way I grew up gave me structure. I've always never followed the full structure, which is why even till today I do things my own way. But there has to be some common sense. And we always run away from the responsibility of now and hide behind what could have happened in the future.
Gotcha.
And like I'm saying now, my responsibility is the stability of my children, it's their mental well-being, because I've grown up in a stable home.
Yeah.
So how do I make this very stable for them?
And because you're all about stability and mental health for your children and wellness, I am gifting you with this package of Longevity Wellness, our premium vitamins and nutritional supplements.
Okay.
Award-winning, thank you. And you've already tried one, so maybe you can share this with your daughters. It's for all ages, for when they go to school, you know, the brain clarity, the eye clarity, if they've got any issues reading from the board or wherever they are, you know, and just like, you know, waking up in the morning to have that good mood. I have Restart to give you that good mood because it releases the hormones. So I'd like to gift you with this package for you and your daughters.
Oh, thank you so much.
Because you still have a long way to go on this life journey. And thank you so much, Doctor, for being with us and for the insight that you've given. And you guys at home, thank you so much for watching us. We'll see you again next time. God bless.
Cheers.